Welcome to the Lara Jane Layton Show. This podcast is for you, the person who keeps putting others first. Your self-talk has held you back. You no longer need to take a second seat. Let's explore ways to overcome self-doubt. You can silence that inner bully voice and achieve your full potential. Here's your host, Lara Jane.
Hello, listener. It's Lara Jane, and today we are going to talk about releasing the past. Yeah, that sounds simple, doesn't it? Let's let go. We can be on our way. But, our past is things we experienced, and that things we experienced mold who we are today. But some of those things we may not want to have anymore, and we may want to reframe them. And so how do we change the way we think about the past to let it go and not keep holding us back? And I wrote a blog about this a while back. And so I'm just going to kind of highlight those things that are ways to let go of the past. And I think the number one thing is acknowledge it. The second we pretend like it never happened, it's harder to get rid of. So acknowledge it, accept it, and of course, reframe it and move on. So acknowledging it. Now, there are going to be things that I have no idea why I think this way. Those things are a little bit harder to release because we have to release the feeling and not knowing where it came from. No big deal. It takes the same process as releasing the ones we vividly remember. Like, why do I hate going to a movie? Pretend like that's the case because I love movies. But if we say, I hate movies, what is it? Maybe they're boring. Maybe you have to sit quiet. Maybe it's that expectation. I love movies at home, but I don't really like them at the movie theater because I can't multitask. At home, I can stop and talk. At the movie theater, I can't. So what is it in that process or in that makes it so I think being in a quiet place without being able to have something else to do is not as rewarding? That's me. Something in my past, have no idea what it was, chose to focus on those things. Now, if I want to let go of that, I've got to acknowledge that I'm not as happy at the movie theater, and these are the reasons, and then I need to accept them. And how do I accept them to move forward? So learning and growing is the next key step. So now I've accepted it. I've acknowledged that it happened. Now, how do I learn and grow? Do I change it or do I choose to hold on to it? I don't jump off a cliff because it hurts really bad when you break your leg or a house or one of those things that we learned from. But growing is acknowledging and saying, this is why I choose not to jump off the house because it's safer for me. That doesn't mean those people that base jump and have those cute little squirrel suits, I don't know what they're really called, that fly and base jump and land safely. They must not have had that same trauma that I had. But I'm going to learn. I'm not going to be a base jumper. I don't have the desire to. So the trauma or the change or the thing that made me learn and grow back then is not holding me back. So I've now acknowledged it. I've accepted it. I've learned from it. And I'm choosing my direction in the future, whether it's something that I'm choosing not to do or something I'm choosing to do. I'm choosing to wear sunscreen because last time I went out without it, I got sunburnt. And I'm using physical things as examples because they're easy. But all of these things can also be emotional things. I spoke up and told somebody how I thought they shot me down. So now I never say anything. So those are the same things. I acknowledge I got shot down. I accept that at times that I'm going to need to not talk, but I'm going to learn and I'm going to take that chance going forward and be able to speak my truth in a confrontational way. I don't know why some days my brain just wants to think it doesn't have the right words. Then after we've already learned, or we're learning and growing, one of the things we have to do is practice self-compassion. That self-compassion is allowing the learning process and not calling yourself stupid because you didn't already know it, but to understand I can learn, I can change, I am human, and I'm getting better every day. Allow yourself to become better. And if better is just better understanding yourself, that's great. After self-compassion, and we've learned to not have to make ourselves be perfect all the time, let's start focusing on the present. So I stubbed my toe and I hate walking around the house in bare feet, and somebody wants me to take their shoes off wants me to take my shoes off going into their house. And I have that fear. So does it always happen? Just don't walk next to the couch. Just don't walk somewhere, just be more conscious of your surroundings and then focus on the present. So right now, I am doing okay. I'm not dwelling in the past. I'm looking at what I have going on right now, which a lot of people also call mindfulness, is being in the right now. Not worrying about the past, not worrying about the future, but enjoying the moment. And then as we learn to be in the present, we can set our intentions of how we want the next days to be. As long as we're living in the past, we're too tired and worn out to look at tomorrow. Or sometimes we worry about tomorrow, like, oh, today my boss got yelled at me. Maybe tomorrow I'll get fired. So there's always these future predictions that you have no idea are going to come true or not. So focusing on the present is always the safest bet. But set your intentions. I want to work in a harmonious environment. So finding a way to work in a harmonious environment is your way of progressing, where you're not stuck in the past. Bosses always yell at you. You now know that you don't have to have that, or all of these are really unique items that we can take advantage of to better form our future. If I want to be able to run a mile tomorrow, I probably want to be able to run almost a mile today. And so working and progressing towards what you intend or your goals every day. The power of releasing that regret and that journey of becoming a more holistic person instead of compartmentalized, like, this is my out playing attitude. This is my work attitude. This is my personality that I take to different places. Won't it be so refreshing when we let go of all that? I have to act this way in this situation to be able to be your unique self. And if your unique self is pretend like you like to be nude, I don't know. This is just an extreme. But if you hate clothing and you never want to wear clothing, there's certain places you're not going to be able to go. You embrace it. Maybe you find a place that you can turn into a nudist camp or whatever, but there's a way to accept who you are, to understand the limitations of where you can and can't go with them, but be okay with it and not force that onto other people. So the second I want to allow myself to be totally 100% uniquely me, I also have to allow you to be 100% and uniquely you. Or I am going to need to have someone else tell me I can't be who I am. And without your unique sauce and your unique special pieces that are you, this world is not the same place. We need all the uniqueness. So remember that transformation needs to have that acceptance of how it got here, the intentions of where we want it to be, and the work to make it happen. So embrace the who you were, who you are, and who you're going to be, so that in everything, a second we know who we're going to be, we can release some of those holds and those things that are holding us in the past. Remember, I'm not a medical or mental professional. I'm here for entertainment. Stay tuned for the next episode, which is one of our interview episodes, and it will be so much fun. Talk to you soon.
Are you tired of waking up exhausted? You are not alone. If you're looking to take your life back, let's start with the simple step of adjusting your self-talk. Stay tuned for the next episode with your host, Lara Jane. Remember to follow the show so you don't miss a next simple step that you can use to feel more confident. And please leave an honest review.